Okay, so here's going to be the latest updates that I've put on my program. So let's just get into it. So we have four sections, or five sections: the pump, the ozone, the chiller, the heater, and some operational control. So this is a new kind of section that I put here. Quick overview: the pump is always on. I have a force off bit that I can control from my phone, and I went into detail about how to do this from your phone. It's very easy. It's just an app that you install, and then you assign the bits in remote PLC. These bits, C2 is the bit that I'm referring to. So I have a force stop for the pump, and whenever I want to turn it off. Ozone, I have it turning on RTC hour. This is a clock bit, so this is running based off the clock. So right now it's 1 p.m. and it's of course 13. So at 2 a.m. it will turn on the ozone. I have a few conditions here set, and then I have a timer as well for how long the ozone stays on for, and I can adjust this timer from my phone. So DS2 is set for 60 minutes. I can also set that for 120 minutes, which is 2 hours, and then it shuts off after that. Very nice. I also have a service life, which is really good. So this is set in hours. It's a 2-year service life for the ozone, so I know when to replace it and when to change it. So right now it's been running for a total of 101 hours, and this is great. It's retained. The values are retained on this timer throughout its life cycle, so that it even if the PLC is off, there's a little internal battery that's in there that prevents it prevents from wiping out all of the data points. So in this case, TD1 remains at 101. It doesn't reset back to 0. So that's really nice. Getting into the chiller, and I'll go through more detail in future videos. I'll go through each section, probably make a video on each section, but this is just a high level view. So I have a manual start chiller. So this is C4. This is connected to my phone as well inside the app, and I can manually start this chiller if I want to. Here are more conditions. Pump has to be on, heater cannot be on, so on and so forth. Has to be greater than 46 degrees, and then I have some force stop as well. I'll go into the flow stop a little later. So this can be manually turned on, and then it also it's auto cooling time. So I also have it automatically start at 5 a.m. and it goes on from 5 to 6 a.m. and it starts cooling right then and there. So right now I'm in the summertime, and that's why I want this to be turned on. What's also cool is that even if this auto cooling does turn on, but the temperature, let's just say I'm in the winter, the temperature is it's below 46, then it will not turn on the chiller. So that concludes that we are in a different season and it's not in the summertime anymore. So it won't even turn the chiller on. And this all can be optimized. This can be perfected. I can add some more options here to completely disable this turning on of the chiller to begin with, but this is sufficient. It has to be above 46 degrees in order for this chiller to even turn on. So some good weatherproofing there. Then we have the heater section. So this heater section here, you can maintain hot tub heat, which is a bit down here. And this is kind of another autonomous cycle that it goes through. So you can manually start it through my phone. And once I start it, then it is within this range, so 103 to 115. These temperature probes are not adjusted properly yet, so I'll need to do some adjustments there, but just calibrate them. But it stays within 103 and 115, and of course, in reality, it's only like 102 degrees from what I've tested thus far. So that's really nice. And then you have of course, your heater force stop to turn off the heater entirely if you need to. That's also connected to my phone. And then you have a high temp. So of course, if it goes over 120, automatically shuts it off. So really nice features here that you can add, and you can continue to elaborate on this as you want. We also have a prevent freeze. So if it goes below 46 degrees, then it will turn on this prevent freeze, which will turn on the heater, as you can see here, and prevent the pipes from freezing. That's great. So last but not least, we have the operational control. And this right here is the flow sensor. So as you can see, this pulsing on and off. So that means that the flow sensor is working. It's basically like a turbine. So what I have here is that when the turbine, I've tested it already, when the pump stops and the turbine stops moving, then X1, this bit, stays on. permanently until the flow begins, and then it starts to pulse. So when this stays on, then and it reaches a timer of set point of 10 seconds, as you can see here the unit's 10, then it turns on T3, which is flow has stopped, and I set that to turn off the heater, turn off the ozone, and to turn off the chiller to make sure that we don't blow out the heater because there's no water flowing through it, to make sure we don't mess up with the chiller because there's no water flowing through it, and then also to make sure we don't push in ozone while there's no water flow. So that's really good. This right here saves. This right here is the primary prevention of a lot of issues that I hear about that a lot of people have in their cold plunge hot tub setup, where they're not able to tell when something has clogged the pump, and so they're shooting ozone into this. They've told the pump to be on, right? They've on their Wi-Fi connected app that they have to their it's receptacle strip, Wi-Fi enabled receptacle strip that is connected to their pump. They're telling it that the pump is on, but they don't have any feedback from the flow that there's water moving. So, for example, let's just say you have a valve that's turned on. There's a valve that's restricting water flow. Your pump's on, but your manual valve that you forgot to open is not, and so you're just running this pump into a closed loop system. You'll burn out the pump. Or, of course, if you don't have any water flow, right? That's a huge problem. And so let's just say there's a leak, there's a broken pipe, and the water's just spitting out. And then there's no water flowing through this pump. You end up running through issues where you're not able to detect it with this turbine flow sensor. So this, and then of course you have the heater situation too, where if you're running hot water through a heater, and the heating element will just burn. So after that, I have this T3 basically shutting off, right? Shutting off the heater here, shutting off the chiller here, and then shutting off the ozone. So that's kind of what I have currently. And if you guys have questions, reach out, and I'll continue to make videos on all these.